The iOS 17 is going to be announced on June 5th at the WWDC, and it's likely going to bring big changes and improvements to the iPhone. In today's video, I'm going to share with you all of these possible improvements, but before I get started, don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this type of content, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. So starting off, the user analyst 941 did share everything that he knows about iOS 17 on Twitter, and there is a lot of information for me to share with you today. But first things first, if you currently own the iPhone 8, 8 Plus, or iPhone 10 and you were worried that it may not receive the new update, you don't have to worry any longer, because according to Analyst 941, all models of the iPhone that currently support iOS 17, including all A11 Bionic power devices, will have support for iOS 17, and that includes the iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and iPhone 10. Now, the main features of this update are likely going to be regarding performance, efficiency, stability, and long-term support for older devices are the main features of this update. And that is something that we definitely look forward to in a new update. I would say in every iOS update. It was not different when Apple released iOS 16. But I'm pretty sure that you're more interested in the changes and new features and not only performance, efficiency, and stability. So I would say that you will enjoy what you are about to hear. First, Control Center. Major changes towards UI, customization, etc. are expected. So if you're not aware, the Control Center is this right here. So the Control Center. Users need to swipe down from the top right corner of the display to get access to it. And before, when the Control Center was released, we had to swipe up. So in older iPhone models, that is how it still works. The Control Center was first introduced with iOS 7 in 2013, and it hasn't really seen any changes since then. So let's see what Apple is going to bring us regarding the Control Center. Maybe we'll have the option to add different controls here. It may have a different design, a different interface overall. So really excited to see what's in store for that. Next, Dynamic Island will do a lot more. Marketing department pressured development team to add more to Dynamic Island, most likely to push sales of the standard iPhone 15's release. And don't forget that the whole lineup of the iPhone 15 is likely going to have the Dynamic Island in 2023. So if you're thinking about purchasing the iPhone 15 or 15 Plus, it will also feature the Dynamic Island. So this will not be limited to the Pro models any longer. If you're not yet familiar with the Dynamic Island, it is right here. You basically have a lot of different animations for different applications that you may be using that show up right here on the top of the display. You can interact with it, but it's kind of limited. So for example, I currently have Spotify open. I'm listening to music. If I want, I can hard press and get access to this animation right here. I can skip music. I can pause, I can play it again, but I don't have a lot of different possibility for interaction with the Dynamic Island so far. Something else that I do love about the Dynamic Island is that I can set a timer, for example, and it will also show up right there. As you can see, I have both the timer and Spotify being shown simultaneously. If I press right here, I get access to the timer. I could pause, I could play it again, or I could close it altogether. If I swipe up, it goes back to this look right here. And if I swipe right, I can choose which one I want to show in the middle. So now I have the timer. Now I don't have anything, And where is Spotify? Was supposed to appear right there. But you get the idea. Something else that I love about it is when I call an Uber and I'm using a different application, let's say Instagram, for example, I have the ability to check how long do I have to wait for my driver to arrive. So I can keep browsing on Instagram. I don't have to keep looking at the Uber app constantly, which is extremely convenient. So I do love the dynamic island, and I can't wait to see all of the new changes that are likely coming on iOS 17. Now, for iPhone 14 and 14 Pro users, and of course 15 Pro and Pro Max, iOS 17 is likely going to bring more always-on display settings. I'm not sure exactly what Apple is planning here, but we may have the option to choose if we want a darker always-on display, if we want a brighter always-on display, or something like that. If you're interested, this is how the always-on display currently looks. I feel like depending on the wallpaper that you choose, it looks pretty dark, and you currently have the ability to disable the wallpaper, disable the notifications, or disable both of these settings on your iPhone settings. I do like to check the notifications, and I do like to see my wallpaper, so I use the always on display, I would say at 100%. I use everything that it has to offer, and this is how mine looks. Before starting to shoot this video, I had a different wallpaper, which was this one, and this is my cat Leo. He is perfect, and this is how it looks with a picture as the wallpaper. And I really like being able to see my picture and see the notifications without having to grab my iPhone. So I do love the always on display, and I'm also looking forward to new features for it. iOS 17 can also bring more focus mode filters in settings. This is definitely something that I am, and I'm pretty sure that many users are waiting for. Notification changes and additional options in settings. Custom accessibility settings will give total control over the UI and layout for older persons or younger children. This is very important, and I feel like Apple is always investing in accessibility, and I really like that. And number 10, active widgets. This is currently in testing. It is not confirmed yet, but apparently active widgets will bring one-tap buttons, sliders, and more, making widgets dynamic. So currently, users don't have that many options with the widgets. You can kind of display information here on your home screen, but you don't really have a way to interact with the widgets. So here I have the weather, for example, but I cannot really do anything from here. The only thing that I can do is tap on the widget and open the app. So Apple may include more options for the users to interact with the widgets. That will be nice. Also, I would like to see more widget styles. Currently, we have this big one and we have the square. So for example, if I want to add a new widget, I tap on the plus sign right here, tap on the app. So let me choose fitness, for example, and these are the styles that I can choose from. I would love to see a smaller one, maybe a longer one, like thinner and longer. That would be nice. So it would be interesting to see what Apple includes regarding the widgets. Next, on number 11, we have car key improvements and more car implementations into the Wallet app. I would think that this is possibly the addition of more brands, maybe more brand compatibilities with Apple Car Key, because currently not many cars have Apple Car Keys, so that would be nice to see. I am currently in Brazil, and right here, I believe that no cars have car key compatibilities. Maybe the BMWs here do have it, but I'm not sure. I know a few people that have BMWs and they don't have the option to use car keys. So I think I'm gonna do a quick search on that after shooting this video. But it would be nice to see more brand compatibilities with Apple Car keys for sure. Now, number 12, health app UI changes, especially regarding favorites in health. And I would love to see new changes for the health app. Currently, I feel like the health app is very confusing. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know if you agree with me or not. But I just think this is not the best interface for the health application. It doesn't look really nice. It's not very intuitive to use. The favorite section, yes, it shows your favorites at the top, but I don't really love it. And sometimes if you're trying to find something, it's not the easiest thing to do. You have to tap on browse right here and you have this list. I don't know, it's not the best application in my opinion. I do like what it offers in the matter of data and everything else, but I would like to see a better user interface, and it looks like it is coming. Next, we have camera app changes. These were initially planned for the iPhone 14 Pro release and may only be implemented into iPhone 15's OS rather than all iOS 17 devices, which kind of makes sense. I also believe that this has to do a little bit with the new button press patterns on the iPhone 15 using the rumored action button. I did post a video talking about these new button press patterns, so I highly recommend you watch it if you're interested. But camera app changes, pretty good. Next, we have heavily improved search spotlight. This is the search spotlight. Yes, it works okay in my opinion, but we never complain about improvements, right? So it looks like it is also happening with iOS 17. And last but not least, a ton of improvements to ARKit APIs frameworks. And the user said don't take that lightly either, a metric ton of them. And before I close, I would like to show you two different concepts for what the dynamic island could be able to do on iOS 17, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. First thing, notifications. Since Apple released the dynamic island with the iPhones 14 Pro and Pro Max, I was like, okay, why don't we get notifications on the dynamic island? It makes a lot of sense. It would look really clean, really chic. It did not happen. So maybe this will be available with iOS 17. And next, whenever you activate Siri on iOS 16 or older iOSs, it takes this space at the bottom of the display. It looks like the Siri animation is also moving to the dynamic island on iOS 17, and this is how it could look. And last but not least, iOS 17 may offer sideloading in Europe to comply with European regulations. I've talked about this in a different video as well, but basically sideloading would allow users to download applications outside of the App Store. This is likely going to be available with iOS 17, but only in Europe, at least for now. And these are the major changes that may be available with iOS 17. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.